All right, so welcome to another Champions Guild video with another champion who I'm very excited to feature today, because this man is known within our community as the Godfather for good reason, as we will learn throughout this video. So Mike Jacques, thank you for joining me, my friend. Really good to have you here. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing really well. Pleasure to be here as well. Pleasure to be here. Yeah.
Awesome. Good stuff, mate. So just a quick overview, first of all, Mike, of your results. So you started your first business, which was an affiliate business in, was it 2018? If I got my year right.
2019, April 2019, I first joined. Yeah.
April 2019. Okay, cool. And then at what point in your business, mate, did you really start seeing financial results to the point where you replaced an income? Just give us an idea of that time frame, first of all.
Okay, so it was probably from joining, because I wasn't very good with the technology. It took me probably longer than most people to get my assets built, my website built, and everything connected and working properly. I then had a miserable time on Bing writing ads, because I'm not very good at writing ads, until Bing kicked me off of Bing and banned me from that platform. So that was a bit of a rocky start. But once, I think it was on your advice, that I moved over to Google and then moved over to video advertising, which I didn't want to do at all. But when I was sort of pushed down that route, encouraged down that route, then I started getting results, not financial results to start with, just interest, leads coming in, clicks and leads, which was quite flattering, because I didn't think I'd get any interest in me at all, being a 54-year-old fart. But once I moved on to the correct platform for me, which was YouTube, and once I started advertising and getting some advertising budget going, I think it took me 4 months. Yeah, 4 months before I had my first really good profitable month, which was so good it paid for the first 3 months that I'd made a slight loss. Well, it's an investment, really, isn't it? It takes time to get any business to a point of profitability. You've got to invest up front, of course.
Awesome. And then not long after that, literally just a few months or a couple of months, you were in sort of multi 5-figure per month run rate, weren't you?
Well, it was my 4th month. I think it was a $21,500 month. And the month before that was only, I think, probably $7,500. So the ramp up was pretty steep. It was, pretty good.
Fantastic. So we're going to talk then about that journey. So what shifts did you have to go through? What challenges did you face? What really held you back in the early stages? What made you decide to start? All these kind of things that we'll dig into now. But just to understand that journey from starting out into the multi 5-figure months in your affiliate business. So with that in mind, Mike, could you please give everyone watching a quick overview of who was Mike Jacques before starting your first company online?
Okay, who was Mike Jacques? Mike Jacques was a pretty successful software sales guy, working for some of the biggest technology companies on the planet, like Dell and Computer Associates, and some very, very big companies. I spent 30 years, I guess, working my way up to a sales director level. European sales director was my last title from the last company that I was involved in. And I was very blessed because, I'm not particularly highly educated. I was dragged into sales by a next door neighbor selling photocopiers when I first started out. And I sort of fell into technology. Not that I understood technology, but I knew it was very lucrative. And I worked my way up to this, I guess, dizzy height, way beyond my capabilities of a European sales director. And I guess that's where I started to see the wheels of my bus started falling off as a person. And I'd already been through 1 divorce. I was now going for a 2nd divorce. Still not realizing that the reason why I was going through these divorces was I was totally focused on money. I was always chasing the money and working so hard and so many hours traveling the world selling, that I had no time for family. So in 2015, I was 50 years old. I was going through my 2nd divorce. I lost my wife, my house, my kids. Kids still don't talk to me. I lost everything. And I walked away from that relationship with 150 grand's worth of debt. So I had literally nothing to my name. It was probably the blackest point in my life. I literally had that conversation: do I carry on and start all over again in life or not? So I was in a very, very dark place. But fast forward a few years, and I met a wonderful woman that accepted me for everything that I had, which was nothing, which was quite refreshing. And so my personal life was fixed. Very, very happy, and remarried for a third and final time. But there was still something broken in my life. I didn't know what it was. There was still, and it dawned on me one day when I was having a row with my CEO, my boss, that I'd grown to hate. In fact, he challenged me. He actually said, "Mike, I don't think your heart's in this anymore." And I thought he was talking about the job that I was doing for him, but he was actually talking about, "I don't think your heart's in sales anymore." And I was quite affronted with that. It was like always been a very proud salesperson. I think it was a great industry. And we got into a row. And to be polite, I told him to shove his job where the sun don't shine. So he did that to me. Same day, fired me on the spot, as you would, talking to a CEO like that. And that was my epiphany. That was because I felt, rather than feeling frightened, scared, disappointed, angry, I felt all of those things probably. The main feeling was utter relief that I didn't have to go on next week's call and talk about this multi-million-dollar deal that was supposed to close this quarter that wasn't going to close, and the stress and the bullshit, I guess, that I had to deal with day in, day out on my job, politics. It was all gone. And I just felt this massive sense of relief, euphoria, that I didn't have a job. It was great. And it took a few days for it to realize that I didn't have an income either now, but but that was the main reaction. It was utter relief, really, really relief. And so much so that for the first time, I was always been a reasonably healthy guy. For the first time in my life, I fell ill. 2 days later, I was bedridden with gout. Where did that come from? And I realized later, it was literally all of this tension, stress, everything just suddenly gone from my body. My body just collapsed. And anyway, stuck in bed for 10 days, couldn't walk, in absolute agony. And then I saw this young software sales guy that had walked away from a 6-figure salary with a backpack and a laptop. And I just thought, well, I want to get out of sales, but I don't know anything else. I'm not educated. I don't want to go back to school. I know nothing else but sales. I don't understand marketing. I know it's different, but it's sort of similar. And it was the fear of doing another 10 years in software sales, which I could get another 6-figure job any time. It was the fear of doing that and updating the CV and starting interviewing again. The fear of that drove me into beyond the fear of going into this online unknown space. And it was scary. It definitely was scary, but it was scarier going back than it was going forward. And that's what made me click on your advert. And that's what made me follow through with the training and keep going. That's what was pushing me through and stopping me quitting was, can I do this? Can I make this happen so I can get away from ever having a job or a boss again was my goal. Yeah.
Got it, mate. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's incredibly powerful. I think just to connect with what was the space that you were in when you started. And it sounds like, if we were to summarize it all in one sentence, it would be that the life situation you were in, it had become a high enough priority for you to figure out a new path, because the existing path was no longer really an alternative, right?
Yeah, I didn't know I was looking for something. I definitely know I wasn't looking for something else. I had that feeling that I really wanted to get out of this career, but I knew nothing else. I even thought about writing a book. I started writing a book in bed, and like I was going to be a famous author like in a month's time, and it was going to replace my career. Stupid. I thought about coding, writing apps. I'm terrible with technology. I thought I was going to be a coder. Crazy. And then Stuart talks about the law of attraction, and I didn't believe in any of that rubbish at the time. but your ad popped up, and it was just at the right time, just in my right mindset. And any other time I would have skipped.
Yeah.
But I was in that space, and boom, there we are. Yeah.
There we are. So let's talk about, so from that exact precise moment, then let's call it the moment when someone intuitively knows that they're not on the right path, right?
Yeah.
Intuitively, we know something has to change. And
Yeah.
and I think often there can be a journey until we actually let go of the old and start to embrace the unknown, the new, right?
Yeah.
So let's say someone's in that space right now. They kind of know in their heart that they can't keep doing what they're doing on the path that they're on. They know something's got to give. They've got this unknown ahead of them. Maybe there's some fear. Maybe there's some uncertainty. What would you say in your experience, Mike, really helped you kind of let go of the old in that space and just step into the intuition of pursuing the new? Like what did you deal with in that space? What fears came up? What reservations came up? Like what did you need to go through to kind of to start taking those steps and taking that new journey?
Good question. Really good question, because I'm being a sales guy. I'm always looking to take a shortcut, cut corners, skip stuff. I skipped all of the beginning of the training because it was all about mindfulness and meditation, and and I know a lot of people needed that, but I thought, what a load of rubbish. Just get me to the website building, get me to the money. Again, I was still in this mindset, chasing the money. Yeah. Which is all I have ever known. So that's the mindset I was in, chasing the money. So I guess I was still holding on to my old persona, even if I'd let go of my old career. And what did I need to do? What did I go through? Well, the technology phase. I'm terrible with technology. I mean, in my 30-year career in technology sales, I could do a Word document pretty well. I could just about do an Excel spreadsheet as long as the functions and calculations weren't too difficult. And PowerPoint was beyond me. I just could not deal with PowerPoint. So I always had people to do that stuff for me. And then when I realized by starting this online business building training that I was going to have to build websites and learn how to do that, terrified me. And I did struggle, even though it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I still struggled, couldn't connect things together. Every single day I was on technical support. They must have got really sick of me. But I was determined to battle through to see if it was real. I still didn't believe it was real. And if I'm totally honest with you, when I first signed up, I thought it was a scam. I thought, wow, $30, $100, I can lose that. It doesn't matter. And then when I started getting into it and it got really bloody difficult, I thought, well, if it is a scam, just take my money, make it easy, for God's sake. Don't make it hard and take my money. And then I realized this is real. I'm really building something here. This is difficult. And then obviously I finally connected with the community and realized there were people struggling, succeeding, doing wonderful things. And I thought, okay, this is real. But I still had this little voice saying, yeah, but you can't do it. Yeah, you're not going to be able to do this. They're younger than you. They're smarter than you. They're tech savvy. They're whatever, but you can't do this. But I got to the end of the technical building stuff. I made it. As I said, someone encouraged me to go on Bing. So I had another bad experience in that I wasted a lot of advertising budget thinking 30 years in sales, I know what I'm doing. And I wasted £1,000 in 3 weeks and got zero results. So I was pretty ready to quit. At some point, I'd already invested in elite training, or accelerate training, as they call it now. And I hadn't even opened it, hadn't even clicked on the link to see what was inside, let alone use the training. Big mistake, because I wouldn't have wasted that money on Bing if I had started the elite training. But again, I was in a rush to earn money. So why I bought it, I've got no idea, but it was in my way. It's advertise, get some sales, earn some money. Anyway, Bing threw me off. I think it was a chat with you or a chat with the community on the Scrap the 9 to 5 call that convinced me I shouldn't quit, even though I'd spent a lot of money at that point and got nothing. And that I should actually start to consume the training that I'd invested in, clearly move over to a new platform and get on to, that was the next hurdle, being told that I should probably try video advertising. and being a 54-year-old fart, what am I going to do on video? Who on earth is going to be interested in me? Don't be so ridiculous. That was the conversation that was going on. But I think you told me just to get over myself and do it. Just quite blunt, quite rude. But I did. I thought, okay, give it a go. How hard can it be? It was hard. Going on camera, shooting videos over and over again. But I think you challenged me to basically look at the community, see what everyone else was doing. Who were the people succeeding? They were all on YouTube. So that sent me a clear signal, probably a good platform to choose. And I think then you recommended that I find someone's ad that I could do the same or better. And I found James Hancock's ad, and it was awful. I tell him I'd say this to my students. And it was everything I was learning in Elite, he was doing the opposite. So I thought, this is terrible. I know I can do a better ad than this. Yeah. So that was the encouragement, I think, just seeing other people that weren't superstars like Stuart Ross or yourself or Justin Wolfe. It's like, this is a normal guy. He's only 6 months ahead of me. He's not that good. I think I might be able to do this. Let's give it a go. And I did. That was June 2019. I blatantly copied his ad, which you should never do. Made my own version of it, and I made 3 versions of it, 3 different color t-shirts, because I thought that was going to help somehow. And I put my ad up at the end of June, and finally I started getting views. I started getting clicks, and it was, wow, people are actually interacting with my video. That's amazing. And then I think the second week I woke up one morning and I had an email from Stuart and Jay saying, congratulations, you've made a sale. And it was amazing. I mean, that sale earned me $20, just $20. And in my software career, I'd had days where I'd earned 10, 15,000 pounds doing multi-million-dollar software sales. So those days were good, don't get me wrong, but this $20 sale, this tiny $20 sale meant, wow, I've built this thing, this internet engine, I like to call it, this website, this sales funnel. I've made this ad, I've built this sales campaign behind it, and my engine's turned over once. It spat out a $20 bill. Now all I need to do is get it to turn over faster and spit out multiple $20, $100 bills, whatever, and replace that income I need now because I don't have a job. That was my goal. How do I get to replace? I think I had £1,000 a month goal, which is what I used to pay towards the house. My wife's let me off for a few months while I did this crazy internet thing before I failed to go and get a job again, and then I could earn an income. She'd actually cashed in an ISA to give me 10 months to make this work or go and get a proper job. So that was month one. I started getting sales, and it was like, wow, okay, all I need to do now is fine tune this engine, maybe fit a turbocharger and a fuel injection system, but how do I get it running faster so it pumps out enough money that I can actually never have a job, never have a boss again, hit my goal. Yeah.
Love it. So there's 2 things I think in that I really want to pick up on. One is the feeling of skepticism when we first start, like, is that real? I can definitely relate to that, because I was the same. As soon as I started learning about, affiliate marketing, and I got involved with the same education company that you did when I first started, and part of me, little voice in the back of my head thinking, this sounds too good to be true. Okay, yes, so I want to touch on that. And then the other thing as well is the moment that you make your first sale online, such a crucial and important milestone, because even though, like you say, it's just $20 or $30 or just really nothing substantial, the point is that you've made it through, as you say, this online machine that is operating independently from you trading your time.
Yes.
Because in sales, obviously, if you weren't there to do the deal, you wouldn't have earned the money. Like, you had to be there, like, personally, physically, to earn that money, trade your time for that money.
You had to chase that money. I mean, in sales, you're chasing people, customers, to convince them to sign on the dotted line to give you money. This is the opposite. It took me months to learn marketing is the opposite to sales. you're walking away from your customers. If you've built an attractive enough offer, website, the whole system, if it's attractive enough, people are chasing you to spend money with you. You're not chasing them. It's the absolute opposite of sales as we know it, as we used to know.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, when you woke up and you check your emails, and in your email inbox is you've made an affiliate sale and you've received money for that. Like, that happened while you slept. Like, that's the whole
that made it even sweeter, to be honest with you, because I was sleeping, some guy in America had signed up, and it was wow. this thing's working somewhere up in the cloud automatically, and I'm earning money. And even now, even I'm 18 months in now, I still pinch myself sometimes that I haven't worked for 18 months and I'm earning a very good living. I mean, I do work, but not in the traditional sense, not like normal people work. Commuting when people used to commute, going to a job when people used to go to a job. But no, not having a boss, most days now I get up, take the dog for a walk. I don't start working till 10 o'clock. I take the dog for a walk with my wife. I got my wife out of her job. She's actually gone back to the NHS for a while now because of COVID. But I don't know what day of the week it is. I have to turn around and say to her, is it Sunday or is it Tuesday? And I don't care. And I love the feeling that I don't know what day of the week it is. It's I'm going senile, but I love the feeling that I'm not running by anyone else's calendar but mine, or anyone else's clock but mine. And I love the feeling that I only work about 10 hours a week, and mainly doing calls like this, or with my people, my students coming in and helping people in the community, which I love to do. And I'm not chasing money anymore. I'm earning. I didn't come in wanting to be a millionaire. I wanted to replace my previous income. I've done that and some. But I'm now earning enough money that I never have to worry about money ever again. I never have to worry about the pensions that I always used to worry that weren't going to be enough to have the lifestyle that I wanted when I retire. I'm probably never going to retire because I thoroughly enjoy what I'm doing. So retirement's not even an issue anymore. And about 6-7 months in, I had a sort of another epiphany in my journey, which was, now it's easy to say when you are, but when you're earning enough money, you don't need to worry about money anymore. Suddenly it hit me that I was getting more satisfaction from helping people, either in the community or my students coming through, make a breakthrough, you see them learn something and move forward in their business, get their first sales as well. Amazing feeling. I get more satisfaction from that than I do from the money. And that was the biggest change in me, and the biggest change my wife's seen is I no longer chase money, it chases me. I help people for a living, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And that is, I never thought I'd have a job like that, like a doctor or a teacher, where you're getting real, genuine fulfillment from the job that you do. And I'm blessed that I've got that opportunity now.
Love that. And I think that is so important, because going back to the skepticism side of things, I think it's easy to hear things like make sales while you sleep. Okay. And it's easy for that to set off the bullshit detector. Like, that sounds ridiculous. Sounds too good to be true. Like, this isn't real. Right. But then if you remember, well, what's actually going on in the background here? You're finding people who have a problem, a pain or problem, and you're helping people understand how to solve that problem by recommending other businesses, products and services. And you're doing that in a way that is leveraged and or automated. For example, shoot a video, put the video online. The video then goes to links to receive other information that helps them solve the problem. And then for doing that, you get a percentage of revenue, right, automatically. So with that being the case, you mentioned already, Mike, that the community was I think a big part of overcoming that skepticism, because you could see other people doing it. When you got involved with the community, like, was there anything else that shifted for you? What impact did community have on your journey in the early stages?
It showed me that there were other people on this crazy journey, and it also showed me that it wasn't going to be easy. It was going to be difficult. It wasn't as easy as shoot a video, put it up there, and the money will just start pouring in. There was a lot more to do when it comes to making sure your ad it fires in the right place at the right time for the right cost, and often enough to make a living. So there's a lot of mechanics that go behind that automated advertising system, automated business, and seeing other people struggling, but also making breakthroughs as well, made it more real for me.
Yeah.
Helped me avoid some of the mistakes they were making, and boy, I made some of my own. That's for sure. But I now help my students coming through avoid my mistakes, and I'm sure they go off and make brand new ones. But there's always something to learn, and it just showed me that it showed me that it wasn't going to be difficult. It wasn't going to be easy, but it was achievable if I put in the time and the effort and didn't do what I normally did in my life, which was quit. If a job got too hard, I'd quit and I'd go and get another one.
Yeah.
And all the time I was doing this training, this online training that you went through, building this website and building a business and learning everything else that has to happen after you've done that, the hard bit, the marketing stuff, the black magic. So, while I was learning that, it was the community that I guess prevented me from quitting. Prevented me from, I felt connected to them that I couldn't just say, what am I trying to say here? It's so easy to build an online business, in brackets, easy. Build a website, have it automated. If it's easy to build, it's very easy to walk away. It's just a click away, I quit. I'm gone.
Yeah.
It's not that easy if you were setting up a sweet shop in the high street. It costs you $100,000 to get the shop, the stock, the shelves, the staff, the till, everything else you have to do. But if you're losing money or it's tough, you're not going to just say one day, oh, that's it, close for good, and walk away and drop the keys through the door. It'd take you months and a lot of pain to close that business down. When it's online business, it's a lot cheaper and a lot faster setting it up. But if it gets tough, it's also so easy just to hit the button and walk away. And I felt that, just update the CV. This is so hard. Just update the CV. I can start interviewing next week. I'll have a job next month. And it was a community that helped me when I had those down days, when I had those struggles with the technology, struggles with the marketing, getting banned from being big rejection. It was a community that just said, get over yourself, just keep going. Because if you keep going and your why is strong enough, your reason to keep going is strong enough, then you're going to get there, because other normal average people are doing the same and they've already done it. And that's what I got from the community. Really, really powerful.
Yeah, perfect. And you mentioned it there about your why being big enough, because I think that the more that you've got something that is a reason that we must do it, right? Like for example, if having a job's not that bad and you don't really mind, it's not actually that big a deal, and you're kind of just investigating online business just to see what it's about, and then maybe it's a bit of a hobby and there's no real skin in the game, like you haven't really invested in yourself, you've not really got yourself involved or educated, or you haven't like built up this need to succeed, then, as you say, it's so easy to just jack it in and walk away, because there will be challenges. Like, it is a journey, it is learning new skills, it is going to take time.
It is.
And it's, I think it's one of them. Go on, Mike.
I was going to say, my students come in, if I hear somebody talking like that, saying, well, I'm here just to give it a go and see where I can make a bit of money on the side, and I just say, do you know what, I'd quit. They'd quit
probably,
now.
Probably
you're going to waste
right.
my time. You're going to waste your time. You're going to waste other people in the community's time. You really need to need this. And if you don't really need this, and your why's not strong enough, you're not going to make it. Just stop now. And sometimes that goes down well. Sometimes it doesn't go down so well. But I think,
but just to touch on that, like even when it doesn't go down so well, it's the right thing, because it's about helping someone realize that actually, like, this isn't the right time to be pursuing this. Because I always look at it like joining the gym. If someone's really dedicated and serious about completely transforming themselves and their health, and they've got big enough reason to do it, and they're really dedicated, they're much more likely to create the result that someone's like, just do it and see how it goes. Same thing, right?
I'd rather see someone leave and not waste their money than carry on and they just don't have the right mindset. They're never going to get there, and you can see they're never going to get there because complaining about everything. Everything's too hard. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, I know what's going to happen. I'd leave
Exactly.
now. Yeah.
So I suppose the moral is like, just check in with yourself if you're watching this and you're thinking of starting a business. I think the thing is, check in with, why is it important? Like, why is this a must to you? Is it a must to you?
Yeah.
What's the alternative? Is it staying in your corporate career until retirement? Is that acceptable? Are you willing to live that life? If no, kind of got to do something about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that perspective, mate. Now, you touched on this a little bit earlier. Let's dig into it a bit more. When you started, same as me, initially it was about the money, right? It was about replacing income and not being in the corporate world, and that really was the motivator. But then there's a shift that happens. I experienced it, you've experienced it, and it's that shift from focusing on the money into focusing on providing value, on helping other people, on making it bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more, Mike, about that shift? Like, when did it happen? What changed for you? How did that then impact your results that happened afterwards? That shift into really focusing on helping others and focusing on helping people solve their problem.
Yeah, I think it happened 6-7 months in. And, we say don't chase the money, but you see, that I don't think that shift would ever happen if you aren't earning a good income. If you're constantly worried about a knock on the door or paying the bills, etc., etc., if you haven't got enough money to comfortably live on, then you're constantly going to be focused on the money. There's nothing else you can focus on. You're worried, yeah. But once you've got to a stage where you've got this automated business running, it is earning you enough money that you stop worrying about the money. I guess your mind wanders onto what next. Yeah, what do I do next? Do I start another business? And my mind, I guess, it wandered. And I can't remember. Was it someone specifically I was talking to? I think it might have been. Someone was having a real struggle, and it was a mindset struggle as well as a technology struggle. And I'd allocated them probably half an hour of my time, and I probably spent nearly 2 hours with them in the end. Way too much time, but I got them through. I got them over what it was that they were, and I could tell they were going to quit if they didn't solve this particular problem. And I invested the extra time, and I got them through, and they were so grateful afterwards. And they were even sending me presents, like, what? I don't need presents, it's like crazy, sending me bottles of wine, people sending me books, sending me gifts, like, what is going on? And then it clicked. Something clicked. Like, wow, I'm feeling so blessed. I'm feeling so overwhelmed. I mean, I've had messages where I've literally had to leave the house and go in my office and cry because people have sent me such wonderful messages that I've saved their lives, changed their lives. Like, I haven't done that. All I've done is run an ad and give you a bit of help and give a bit of mentoring, but to them I've totally changed their whole perspective on life. I've totally maybe changed their financial situation, I hope. And that, when that starts to happen and you see it happening again and again and again, that's when you suddenly realize, hang about, this is feeling much, much better than looking at my numbers on screen or looking at my bank account. This feeling I'm getting to see that person move on and give you some feedback is far more fulfilling than the money or what you can do with the money. So it took a few months. I never ever thought I'd be that person. I was a selfish sales guy. It was all about the money. It was all about doing the deal. And even moving online, it was all about the money again. But then it's suddenly not. It just shifted.
Yeah. And that's I think the moral of this is that you can, if you're starting out and it is about the money or it is about quitting the job or whatever, like, that's okay. Don't make yourself wrong if that's what's driving you at the moment. But at the same time, it's recognizing that for the long-term fulfillment and for actually creating a foundation where you're going to wake up every day feeling inspired and feeling excited and feeling that you're making a positive difference and all the stuff that actually is what matters in the long term, because it's not really the money, it's that. Just recognize that throughout this journey, and the more that you walk down this path and the quicker that you can really start focusing on other people and genuinely helping people, the byproduct of that is that your business is also going to thrive so much more as well. Because really the only reason for a business to exist is if it is effectively solving people's problems and providing solutions to those problems.
Yeah.
If that's not happening, then there's not really a reason for our business to exist. And that's an extension of us, right? To have that shift in ourselves, shift in the business. And then as a result of that, financial results are going to be much higher.
And I guess we're also looking back at our journey. And when we're talking to other people, helping other people, mentoring other people, you can see that you can remember when you were at that point, and you know how close sometimes the people are, whether it's in their advert or you can just tell, just keep pushing. You're so close. And then you see them break through and it's like, wow, I helped them do that. I could tell that they would have just quit if I hadn't have invested that extra time, that extra, shared my lessons with them so they could avoid the same mistakes, or just give them that bit of encouragement just to keep pushing and see them break through. It's just amazing. Yeah.
And then the final question then, Mike, because I think this has been extremely powerful and valuable for anyone who's kind of in the early stages. But we've talked about the journey. We've talked about like the process of getting from there to creating the successful business. Yeah. How do you see now the possibilities that you have ahead of you? You've got the financial stuff ticked and sorted. You've got, you're passionate and you're fulfilled about what you're doing and helping people and providing value. What's kind of what's possible now for you that you've created that freedom in your life?
Anything. I'm only limited now by my imagination and the fact that I'm a lazy sod. But I've already got another online business teed up. It's in a different space. It's automated forex trading, which I won't go into too much now. But so there's another potential business there that's sort of, I guess, on the back burner. I'm just making sure that it's what I think it is before I put my name to it and start promoting that business. And I've got I invested in my training. I invested in import expert or e-commerce training, which I've never used. Again, too bloody lazy. So I've got all the time in the world now. I've got enough money now. I can potentially go down that route, which I didn't have the money, which is the reason why I chose the affiliate route. But I have the money now. I have the time now. I have all the time in the world. And it's just motivating myself to just start that and just start to sell products online. But the answer is, as you know, once you've learned this black art, which is not website building, not automating your website or building an internet engine, as I like to call it, once you've learned the hard bit, which is something called marketing, which is getting thousands of people to your website or someone else's website and they happen to buy, once you've learned that bit, you can then do anything online. You sell any product, any service, build your own service, your own products. It's just I'm lazy. I'm not just lazy. I'm doing myself an injustice. I am lazy, but I'm also thoroughly enjoying what I'm doing. Yeah, and why go and do something else? Even though I've got these other things teed up, I'm just so enjoying what I'm doing at the moment. I'm sure I will at some point before my training runs out. Hopefully learn how to do import export and just go and sell umbrellas online, just so I can say, hey, I've done it, whatever. But yeah, I've got lots of other ideas. I just need someone to motivate me to go and do it.
Well, Mike, I'll happily give you a bit of a kick up the arse, mate.
That's what I need. Kick up the arse.
Motivation.
Not mentoring, kick up the arse.
Kick up the arse. Exactly. Buddy, look, I really appreciate you sharing that today. And I just want to, congratulate you for the journey that you've taken, the results that you take, the results that you've created. I think it's a testament to, not just how you've shown up, but again, this giving back, this service, this actual willingness to help people overcome these challenges in their own life. And that shows in the community. The amount of times that I have people that join webinars who say they've been on a call with you, they've had breakthroughs from you, they've watched some training that you've created. It just happens constantly and all the time. And I think that is just a massive reason.
Well, I like sort of helping people and giving back, as you say, so much that I probably do more of that for the community. There's no monetary benefit to me than I do from my own students, which is, I need to change that maybe. But it just shows how I've changed, So, I'm investing time in people. There's no way that I'm ever going to earn money from them, and I don't care, and I enjoy it. So yeah, it's great.
Love it, mate. Mate, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it, buddy. And I'm sure at some point very soon when the world opens up again, I just said this, I had another call with Matt Cook earlier and said the same thing. I was like, mate, I can't wait till we can do live events again and everyone can meet up, because it's been too long. It's been too long.
Yeah, so. It's been, I miss the beers that you used to buy. Yeah.
Well, I'm doing a 90-day no alcohol challenge at the moment, so it'll have to be a Beck's Blue or a Heineken 0% or something.
Okay, that's an incentive I'm not probably going to get involved.
Yeah, you're like sacrilege as far as I'm concerned. Buddy, I'll let you crack on. Thank you very much, my friend, and yeah, we'll speak soon.
Catch you later, mate. Bye bye then.
Cheers, mate. Bye bye.